Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. Our guest today was born and raised right here in Jacksonville and grew up at the Ramallah American Club. Her parents were actively involved in the community, serving in numerous leadership positions over the years. She herself has participated in and volunteered at countless events since her childhood, and in addition to her role as a financial secretary for 6 years in her officer position, she continues to serve as one of Jacksonville's long-term correspondents for the Hadihi Ramallah magazine. We welcome Miss Julia Farhat to this episode of Hear Our Story.
Welcome to Hear Our Story, the podcast where first-generation Palestinian voices take center stage. I'm Elias.
And I'm Janice Farhat.
Together, we're sitting down with family, friends, aunts, uncles, and yes, all your cousins too, so we can share the rich, complex stories of growing up between two worlds, the land that gave us life and the one that lives forever in our hearts.
They are not just our stories. They're stories that will feel familiar, maybe even like your own. So grab some coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into these conversations that are as enlightening as they are entertaining.
Thank you so much for this warm welcome. I'm so excited and honored to be here, and especially honored to participate in my first podcast with both of you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us your parents' names, your grandparents' names, your hamula, and the story of how your family came to the States?
My parents are Jamal Ziada Farhat and Grace Bata Farhat.
And to add to your history, you were named after Teta Julia. And please go on. Your maternal grandparents are
Salam Shahada Bata and Jalila Shahada Bata. My paternal grandparents' names are Yusuf and Julia Ziada Farhat, and I originate from Dar Brahim. Also, Bata is spelled with 2 T's, which I like to make my maternal family unique. So my dad immigrated to the U.S. when he was 19, and my mom immigrated to the U.S. when she was 9. When my father came to the U.S., he first came to New York and then moved to Texas for schooling, and then came to Florida on his aunt's recommendation to meet my mom, as she thought that they would be a great match. So they married, and the rest is history. So my maternal grandparents immigrated here in the 50s. And I have many treasured moments and memories of spending time with them when I was younger. My siblings and I cherish our times with them and my cousins when we all gathered together in their sweet brick bungalow-style home on the north side of town, and other cousins. And then when they needed some adult time, we were sent away to play, which was some of our favorite times. My dad's parents immigrated to the U.S. in the 60s. Prior to their immigration to the U.S., they lived in what is now known as the First Ramallah Scout Group Home, Palestine's oldest scouting organizations, and it continues to thrive today. My grandfather, father, and uncles were all Boy Scouts, in which I was able to visit that beautiful staple in 2008 when I was in Ramallah and saw Boys and Girl Scouts perform in a parade.
Julia, growing up at the club must have been such a formative experience. What are some of your earliest memories at the club?
Teaching me the value of camaraderie and reminding me how important it is to be surrounded by family. I remember participating in and co-hosting youth group meetings, but they weren't as structured as they are today. We still accomplished meaningful work for our club and the AFRP, but it was done differently then. I do remember participating in a cultural event where I, as well as others, had the honor of representing each city in Palestine by wearing their actual traditional dress and headpiece. Such an incredible and humbling experience. And our youth group cruise, the memories we made together. We won't be able to replicate those treasured moments. I still stay in contact with people I met all over the U.S., and I cherish those relationships. We reminisce all the time about that youth group cruise. I mean, countless unforgettable moments. Some of us, including myself now, may have ignored the fact that we were not the only passengers on that boat. So some of us, including myself, may have acted as if we chartered the entire boat. What do you think, Janice?
I think so. I think so. Those are the years.
And I have a collection of great photos, including that iconic photo in our social room. Recently, Jimmy Farrah and I were discussing that iconic photo. I mean, really, it comes up all the time. He insisted everyone be included in that photo. Do you remember that, Janice?
I do.
Commenting that such a moment might not come again. And sadly, he was correct. So thank you, Jimmy, for that. And memory eternal to those no longer with us.
Yeah, it's a special photo for sure.
Now, on a lighter note, to the real Bob Salah, if you were listening, our sincere apologies because we didn't know.
Inside joke to those who are on that were on the cruise. Alex?
We mentioned your parents' leadership in this community, and I want to take a moment to honor your father, a mentor to so many, memory eternal. He served as Ramallah Club president, went on to become Federation president, and served in so many other leadership roles while advocating tirelessly for our community. Your mother was president of the Ladies Auxiliary and served as recording secretary for 15 years, which I believe is a record.
I think so.
And to this day, she still volunteers whenever she can at picnics and other events. Did their leadership guide your own choices? And can you highlight some of your favorite projects that you've served on?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yes, I would say I am the best of both worlds, Palestinian and American, because of my parents' teachings. And, you know, when you refer to my mom, she still loves to volunteer every chance she gets. Even just, you know, little projects, little events that we have at the club, big events, she just loves that. My passion, drive, and detail-oriented nature, I really, truly feel come from both of my parents. I treasure our road trips to the conventions with my extended family, priceless memories. We were able to see my father installed as AFRP deputy president and Federation president. And I'm not sure if they still hold this record, but my father and his two brothers were the only three brothers who served as both AFRP deputy president and AFRP Federation president. So forgive me if, you know, they no longer hold this record, but I had to call that out because at one time they did.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I've come to realize that volunteerism has been a constant for me. I served in several officer roles before ultimately leading my previous employer's volunteer program. So I found my time in those roles really deeply rewarding. It was a lot of work, but so worthy of our time. And also co-chairing my first picnic under my sister's presidency comes to mind. It wasn't so much about cleaning chicken, and yes, I did clean chicken, but it was more about the camaraderie and listening to our treasured matriarchs while they were cleaning chicken and preparing the traditional hashwa. Also, our 80s prom party, when my sister was crowned prom queen. That was pretty fun. Hosting the Palestinian Youth Orchestra in 2011, our Patriarchs and Peacemakers exhibit in 2012, our 60th anniversary celebration, co-chairing a New Year's Eve party, and then when we hosted the National Ensemble in 2016 and again last year.
Julia, I want to remind everyone that you have volunteered at every convention that Jacksonville has hosted. Is there one that stands out more than others, one you really enjoyed, maybe the 1991 convention at the Omni in Jacksonville or the first one in Orlando in 2000? You want to talk about those?
So I do have fond memories of our first one in 1991, as even though I volunteered, it was more about having fun with my cousins and people I met. I think our convention in Orlando in 2000 was one that really stands out, though, as that is the first one I felt I was really all in. I served on the registration committee, and while we worked hard leading up to the convention and during, for me it was about that fellowship and meeting different extended Ramallah family across the U.S. and getting reunited with those I met before.
Now, let's talk about your role with the Hatihi Ramallah magazine. What initially got you started, and how has that role evolved for you over the years?
So, wow. Actually, it's a who that got me started. So my Aunt Eileen Farhat approached me and asked me if I would like to take over And I was like, why? Me? And what? And how? I had all these questions. She reassured me that I would be good at it, reviewed a few do's and don'ts with me. And 16 years later, wow, I realized 16 years later, may I also take a moment to acknowledge all my fellow correspondents, past and present, across the U.S. and in our beloved Ramallah, Palestine, and a special mention to my father, who I recently learned was also a correspondent, and the magazine editors I worked with previously and currently. Thank you for all your years of service to our magazine. So what this role looks like today is very different from when I first stepped into it. Over the years, it has evolved in response to our ever-growing and active communities, and especially in response to the world today, and specifically since October 7th. That's how I look at it.
Julia, your role at the Hadith Ramallah magazine sounds incredibly time-consuming. Thank you for all of your work. What's your favorite part of working on the magazine, and do you have a favorite issue that gets published every year?
Janice, thank you for that question. I didn't realize it was 16 years until I was looking back. I think for me, my favorite part of the magazine is those unexpected random texts or in-person moments when people come up and say, thank you for all you do. I remember being at a recent gathering when someone told me, you are the heart of this community. And I was honestly floored, and I just looked at them, be bewildered, because I didn't know why they told me that. And they thanked me for the many updates I share for our community. As you know, sometimes Jacksonville is filled with pages and pages of updates. We are a large community, and sometimes we have a lot going on. Another favorite moment is when I was able to meet some of the correspondents in person in 2021 during a special recognition at the convention. Now, mind you, it's not always sunshine, roses, and butterflies, though. Years ago, I made the mistake of submitting a personal milestone without asking the parent first, and the feedback I received from them was a wake-up call. So I realized that respecting privacy is just as important as sharing the news. So while I'm sure that every correspondent has developed their own style, my personal rule is to secure permission from the parent and newlyweds before submitting their special news. Also, I may miss capturing an event or personal milestone, or worse, make a mistake. This is a labor of love, so I tend to be my own worst critic. I'm deeply passionate about how I write and representing our community accurately, and I take it to heart when I make a mistake.
Well, I want to remind everybody you're a volunteer. So before we move on to the next question, I think that's kind of our common, theme and thread whenever anybody does make a mistake. I mean, at the club or any community event or any volunteer organization, you're volunteering,
Exactly.
You're volunteering.
Exactly.
Now, you asked as far as my favorite yearly issue. For me, I think some of my favorites are the issues when they promote our Jacksonville conventions, because we commit, as you both know, 2+ years of our lives to them, to planning those events. And when we see those issues with pages and pages about our city and our accomplishments, it does make me smile so big. And also those issues that really warm my heart are the ones filled with photos of our littlest members of our community and their accomplishments, and really all over the U.S., and youth group members and their events. I mean, I love it when we see our community thrive and make significant impacts.
Julia, even with social media and everyone getting information in real time these days, my impression is that the magazine is still a significant publication and that people in our community still turn to it for family news and updates. Is that accurate? It sounds like it is based on the stories you've told.
Oh, absolutely, I do. Some people of all ages, don't have or choose not to have social media or have limited access to the internet. So I still have people contact me asking me for status of their physical copy and for my deadlines to submit their news. And seeing a loved one's story honored in print truly brings a big smile to their face. Also, thanks to the AFRP, you have the opportunity to have the digital access to the magazine if you choose to, and also past issues.
Julia, can you talk a bit about your career and what you do professionally? I know your employers have embraced Culture Days, which has allowed you to showcase your Palestinian heritage. How has that opened up teaching moments for you?
Yeah, thank you for that. So I work for Ascension Healthcare System as a My Career Advisor, and I've been with them almost 8 years. So part of their mission statement includes serving all persons with special attention to those who are poor and vulnerable. We are advocates for a compassionate and just society through our actions and our words. I love that part of our mission statement because I feel it aligns with our Ramallah Club of Jacksonville and our AFRP's mission statement. So to clarify what I do is we support all associates across Ascension in navigating their career journeys with providing various resources. Our goal is retention. So our desire for you, Alex, or for you, Janice, if you joined Ascension, including leaders, we want you to stay and be happy with whatever career paths you choose with Ascension. So our team helps you with that. I have an eclectic background that began in a hospital setting after college, and because I did work in a hospital, but I followed with roles in medical insurance and banking before returning to a hospital. So throughout each step of my career, a constant thread has been my commitment to helping people. So something that defines the work I do today in my career and with the Ramallah Club, and I do consider it my calling. So as far as teaching moments, definitely when I first joined Ascension, I think the assumption was I am something other than American. At the time, I was not hiding my identity, but I wasn't forthcoming. As I became comfortable with my colleagues, I began to sprinkle examples of my culture in various team meetings and team work groups. In September 2023, I was invited to participate in an interfaith national prayer service, which was to be broadcast live to all associates on October 10th, 2023. My presentation was titled My Whole Self, and I was given an open platform to share the things I love most: my family, my Palestinian heritage, photos of my beloved Ramallah, our beloved Ramallah, our food, and the beautiful artistry of Tatreez. It was the first time I stepped into the internal spotlight as my authentic self. I was nervous but excited. So the prayer service was broadcast, but it was not published due to the events of October 7th. Nevertheless, the feedback I received was so positive and how heartwarming. I made a difference. So another example is it's standard practice at Ascension to open meetings with a short reflection, be it spiritual, motivational, or theme-based. My immediate team meets virtually once a week, and we rotate presenting. I oversee our scheduling and make it a point to lead presentations and give reflections during key cultural observances. So I align my presentation deck themes around, for example, National Arab Heritage Month or National Palestine Dress Day, for example. And I also make it a point to honor other diverse holidays as well.
You've had the opportunity to visit Ramallah. What was that experience like for you, and what surprised you the most?
Oh my goodness. Incredible, exciting, everything amazing. I went with a great group and we made lifelong cherished memories we still talk about and laugh about. Sometimes all we have to say is one word and we just giggle. Now, as far as surprising, and I spoke about this to Janice quite a bit, no stop signs that I could recall, and everyone made their own road rules. It was crazy. And another unexpected moment was hearing the beautiful call to prayer that first night. While, again, it was beautiful and lovely, the sheer volume caught me off guard. It was much louder than I anticipated, and because I wasn't familiar with the timing or frequency. Something else that pleasantly surprised me was how everyone knew each other. It was like the series Cheers. I remember about 6 to 7 of us stuffed ourselves in a taxi, and the driver was supposed to take us to a church. Well, somehow the destination was lost in translation, and he drove us to what looked like an abandoned building. So we all got out, and we're like, okay. So we just started walking. And then one of our friends from the tour group, she saw us walking and came by and said, "You need a ride?" And it was like, see, like cheers from friends. I mean, it was just great. And then she took us to, I believe, her grandmother's house. So again, just moments like that we'll treasure always.
What's the one thing that makes you most proud about our culture?
that we never meet a stranger, that we embrace everyone as family because they indeed are family, and even those chosen by heart, not by blood. I think that's one of the things that make me most proud among many other things.
In addition to your work at the club, you've recently taken on more advocacy work with the new chapter, Jacksonville chapter, the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Can you tell us about the gala you helped plan? I was here for that gala. It was a huge success. Congratulations to you and the team. What does the mission of the PCRF mean to you?
Yeah, thank you for all of your support with that gala. So, it was just a beautiful event that I loved being a part of. For me, the mission, they do everything homegrown. It's grassroots, and there's no hidden agenda. They simply show up and do for these children. That's what we do. I was so honored again to be a small part of such a selfless, caring group of people who gave so much of themselves for almost 8 months of planning. Every bit of effort was fueled by our love for these children. And to see our very first event come together so perfectly was more than we ever could have hoped for. We raised over $300,000 for these children and to help rebuild a hospital in the West Bank. And we're already starting to plan a lot of exciting events this year. And a quick acknowledgement to organizations like HEAL, who are also driven by the love for the children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the AFRP.
And
the medical mission.
Of course, the medical mission.
Yes.
Forgive me. Of course, the medical mission. Yes.
Julia, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. But before we wrap up, do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners?
Yeah, thank you again for this amazing opportunity. So mainstream media often promotes their own narrative, as you know, even denies the existence of Palestinians. And we are living proof we do exist. Be unapologetically authentic. Stay true to who you are, your whole self. Never doubt the value of your smallest efforts. Often the things you think go unnoticed are the very things that shift someone else's mindset.
Well said.
Very good.
Thanks, Julia.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Hear Our Story, a podcast dedicated to first-generation Palestinian Americans. Special thanks to the Ramallah American Club of Jacksonville and to the production team of Joy Bete Freha, Alex Elias, Janice Farhat, and Chris Varmond. Hear Our Story can be found on all podcast platforms. We look forward to bringing you our next story.